it's 6 a.m. Time for me to go to work again. Hey, all I wanna do is lay around and love on you. It's Monday morning and it's 6 a.m. Time for me to go to work again. Hey, all I wanna do is lay around and love on you. It's 7:30, honey, I don't care. What you're doing is gonna keep me here. Hey, all I wanna do is lay around and love on you. Well, lay around and love on you. You got me so turned on, baby, I can't turn it loose. Hope nobody calls, the phone is off the hook. We're gonna try everything in that book. Yeah, all I wanna do is lay around and love on you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live stream tonight on YouTube. I'm sorry I did not make it on last night. I was at a wedding. I didn't get home till 9 o'clock my time. And then I ended up on Facebook Live with couple of my friends, Jim and my friend Tony, and I do have that live, and I'm going to condense it down and make it a regular video, so that we can have that. It'll be a what they call the third episode of Real Life Encounters, where Tony actually had an encounter and a phone call from him. So as soon as I get that video edited and she approves it, I will put it on YouTube as a regular video. So that'll be coming up soon, probably in another week or two, when I have the time, as I am a little busy as a person. But anyway, hi Chanel, how we doing tonight? I'm doing okay. I have a little bit of a cough still, so bear with me on the cough or the voice or blowing my nose. But other than that, I'm doing well. And hi, Sandy. How are you? I don't know if Jim's joining me tonight. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. It depends on his mood. I guess right now he's not on. So anyway, there's a lot to cover here tonight. So I'm going to start. We are going to finish the rest of this chapter. It's about the movie hints, or the hints in the media and television shows that have been dropped over the years. And I think we finished off with, and I can't remember exactly where we finished off. I think we finished off with the RoboCop stuff. So I'm going to continue on. She was talking about Orion Pictures. I'm just going to look at this for a second. Most of the stuff is on Linda's site, but there is some new other stuff here that is not on Linda's site. But I'm just going to give you a couple notes here that I thought was quite interesting. Well, first of all, Orion Pictures began in 1978. It was a joint venture with Warner Brothers and 3 other executives from United Artists. And the name of the artists, the executives, were actually men that actually worked with Elvis on United Artists when he was in the movie business as Elvis. And there were 2 other men that were investors as well, but they are not named. I think we read it earlier in this book, or in Is Elvis Alive? Those 2 other men were considered part of another, I think it was Boxcar Productions, which Jesse Elvis has mentioned in the movie is Elvis Found Alive about it. So I'm going to show that to you when I get to that point where we will be discussing one of the movies that Orion Pictures had made. I'm just going to give you a little history of Orion Pictures from Linda Hood Sigmund's Truth.com. I do have her site up and we can look at it later. But I'm just going to give you kind of the notes that I have down here, a timeline. In 1982, Orion Movie Pictures merged with Filmways Incorporated, and then Metro Media became majority owner in 1988. So in 1992, Orion Pictures goes bankrupt, and MGM basically acquires Orion Pictures or merges with Orion Pictures in 1997. And Priscilla Presley was on the became the one of the board of directors on MGM in 2001. There will be a movie we will be discussing, The Great Balls of Fire, that shows Jerry Lee Lewis, basically like a biography. She will be discussing this in this book. We will cover that. The movie 1983, Breathless, came out by Orion Pictures. The main character's name was Jesse. Very interesting. Another Orion Pictures movie, Farewell to the King, in 1989. And there is a saying at the end where it says something on the idea that he is gone, he is now free, that type of thing. So I think Linda does cover that on her site, and I think it's covered here in this book. We will be covering that. The Last Farewell was recorded. The song "The Last Farewell" by Elvis was recorded in 1976 in the Jungle Room, and I think they used that song at the end of the movie, and it is featured on Linda's site. And when we cover "The Last Farewell" in the book, I will try to look it up for you guys, and if I can do a clip of the movie, I will, the ending. But if not, it is located on her site. All right. There is a cartoon book called Army of Darkness. The characters in it look a lot like, one character looks a lot like Elvis in it. That's by Orion as well. And the last one is Finding Graceland. The movie is done at Graceland. It is approved by EPE to be recorded there. Priscilla Presley produced it. And I'm going to give you the clip here first before I dive into the book from Elvis Found Alive documentary or mockumentary, talking about his role in the entertainment industry after 1977. He does mention Finding Graceland. So I'm going to let you guys see that, and then we will dive into the book.
Well, there's no way I could perform my music live or star in a film. But you know, it's like the old song, there ain't no business like show business. So I wrote a movie script called Finding Graceland, and Scylla produced it in 1998. It was about myself trying to get back to Graceland, to go home. I had a production company called Boxcar Productions. So Scylla, she let me play the tramp in the boxcar at the end of the picture. Then I was in.
All right. And the other one he was saying was he was part of Avatar, but I'm not sure if that's actually true or not, because obviously this movie was said that it was part fiction and part fact. But this one lines up with Linda's site, Finding Graceland. What's neat about Finding Graceland also is that if I were to look under that movie listing thing, it talks about the producers, the names of the people, so on. It has Priscilla Presley listed as a producer. It also has Orion Pictures, MGM Studios, so on and so forth. But the other thing that was very interesting was TCB Productions. So, taking care of business productions. So that could be the envelope head or whatever that he used. And he said he wrote the script in this right here, and he was in the boxcar. So I have a picture here of a combination, and I just want you guys to look at this with an open eye. a critical eye if you want. Comparison of body types between Elvis, Jesse Elvis, and this boxcar. I'm hoping it comes out. It's not super clear, but I did the best I could. Doing a screenshot of the guy in the boxcar at the end of the movie. If you see similarities in the arm and body structure, great. If not, if you don't believe that, that's fine. But I also remember that in the movies, he has access to beards, prosthetics, things to hide his identity. But the arm is quite interesting. So I thought I would show this to you before I read the chapter. The boxcar, obviously, picture is at the bottom. I'm going to reduce myself down here for a minute so we can. And I'm going to take this down and we're going to read. All right. I'm going to check the comments real quick before I read. I'm going to say hello to everybody else that joined in because I didn't get the chance. Hi, Coral Moon. How are you tonight? Or today? Hi, Tim. How are you? I am doing a little better. I do have a cough still, so bear with me if I cough or need a drink. Hi, Mary. How are you? I don't know where Jim is tonight. I think he's missing in action. We spent 2 hours on Facebook last night on a live. It was like random questions and discussions and all that kind of thing. So maybe he's not deciding to come on tonight. Hi, Junior D 1998. Do you think Orion Jimmy Ellis was Jesse Elvis and had plastic surgery to look like Elvis' father? Jimmy Ellis was a separate man, but Jesse Elvis did say he did sing some songs. I think I might have featured one of them, Lay Around in Love, as Orion. Okay. So he did sing some songs as Orion, not all of them. But Jimmy Ellis was rumored, and I'm not quite sure if it's true or not. All it says on his birth certificate, because he was adopted, that his mother's name was Gladys Bell and his father's name was Vernon with no last name. It could be a possibility he was a illegitimate child of Vernon, or maybe someone related to the Presley family, but we do not know. But he does resemble Vernon quite a bit. So I hope that helps you. I'm not sure. It could be a possibility that Jesse Elvis had surgery to look more like Jimmy Ellis. So when they toured and they had the mask, they looked alike. Dyed his hair or whatever, styled it the same way, wore the same clothes. There was, there are stories of them switching off on stage and things like that. So there were two Orion singers like touring sometimes. Patricia, hi, love this. I only can get this every so often. Thank you for what you do. Well, you're welcome. I try my best to come on every week. The last 2 weeks I have not been on. The first week my father passed away, and so it was pretty sad. And that Saturday was just a sad day. And then last week I took the week off because I had a chest cold, and I was coughing a lot. So I didn't want to come on and cough all night and try to do a live. So I took a rest and rested. So I'm back on. Not on my normal night. I'm usually on Saturday nights, but because I had a wedding to go to yesterday and got home kind of after my time I usually come on live. I decided to do it tonight. All right. So now that I'm done with this, I'm going to stop here with the comments and I will pick up after that at the end. Okay, I can call you Junior, no problem, Junior. And after that, I'll address all comments and other questions at the end, okay? All right. So there's a lot here. I think we went over RoboCop, and as I was telling you, and RoboCop was an Orion Picture release. RoboCop 2 was interesting because it was released in 1990, and yes, it is set in Michigan. Robo, as he is known in the streets, has become a Detroit celebrity. As Janet Maslin put it in the New York Times on June 22nd review, RoboCop's arch nemesis is the new film is a drug dealer and a cult leader named Kane, who has been marketing a virulent new street drug called Nuke. A fan, Candy C. of Jacksonville, Florida, wrote me almost immediately after the film's release. There's a scene in it with a coffin, and over the coffin is a picture of Mother Teresa, another picture of Christ, and a large picture of Elvis. Inside the coffin popped up is another picture of Elvis. Now, I think Linda Hood-Sigmund might have some pictures from RoboCop 2 on her site. I'd have to look it up afterwards. But what's interesting about this is also RoboCop 2, the mother and the baby was actually Linda Thompson. So she was listed, and also Jerry Schilling was had a role in that movie. In 1988, there was a deluge of Orion Pictures in which there appeared to be Elvis connections. One of the most popular was Mac and Me, a story of a young alien lost millions of miles from home on a strange planet. Elvis fans were most intrigued motively. One asked, have you seen at the end of the movie how the alien family is shown driving away in, now get this, an old pink Cadillac convertible? As the car drives off, the balloon caption at the end says, we'll be back. The writer hoped that this was Elvis's message that he would be back. He adds, a friend has pointed out to me that the soundtrack to Mac and Me is on Curb Records, the same label as Spelling on the Stone. I also found one of the singing groups, Heart of Dixie, another 88 Orion release, appears through the courtesy of Curb Records. So there was a couple albums by Curb Records released from Orion Pictures. Okay. Another fan noted that lyrics to songs sung during the Cadillac's driving away scene were very poignant when related to Elvis. Also, a little boy in the movie is dead, but then comes back to life. And the scene at the end in which the black man is swearing in the aliens as United States citizens is meaningful, reminds us of our duties as citizens. A third fan signaled out some of the highly significant song lyrics. Tired of being myself, being different from everyone else. Somehow you knew I needed your help. Be my friend forever. I never found my star in the night. Living my dream was far from sight. The same writer singled out the scene in which Eric asks Debbie, why didn't you tell him that you saw him? The alien? To which she responds, because no one would believe me. Now, how many times have we heard stories about encounters with Elvis and they will go tell somebody and no one believes them? Okay. Another 1988 Orion release was Johnny Be Good. A fan who recently rented the film has commented, wow, this is about a high school football star who is suddenly sought after and swamped by people clamoring all over him with bribes, girls, etc. Anyway, to make it short, the movie parallels Elvis's early life in many ways. They show an Elvis decanter, the one with pink jacket and black slacks. In the coach's house early in the movie, the star says to his mother, "I'm going to make enough money so you never have to work again, Mama." Later, he tells her he wants to buy her a big house. He goes to Hollywood and comes back later in jewelry, fancy clothes, etc. The scene of a striptease act is filmed to resemble the same scene in Elvis's Jailhouse Rock, in which he is sitting on the edge of the stage, looking up at a stripper. The song "Johnny Be Good," the song title, was different from the movie titles. Somewhat described Elvis's life to not that of a football player. You have to see the movie to put it all together, but it is remarkable. One scene in the motel room with three girls and a friend of, excuse me, sorry, motel room with three girls and a friend of Johnny's is classically Elvis. Johnny is sitting at a table talking to this girl about love, life, and philosophy, and she's bored and about to go to sleep while his friends is enjoying the other two girls. Finally, Johnny's girl asked him if they were going to or not. I have read tales of how women wanted to get to know Elvis and were disappointed when he only wanted someone to talk to. All right. Another popular 1988 Orion film in movie houses as well as on TV was Married to the Mob, starring later Oscar nominated Michelle Pfeiffer. It was a spoof about the FBI and the mob. The end of the movie showed a scene in a hair salon with an Elvis look-alike mannequin on the counter, and the end of the film credits were accompanied by a scene that is almost a reenactment of the dance scene in Jailhouse Rock. At one point, the undercover FBI agent said, "You're surrounded by the FBI and the DEA." Okay. Orion's Mississippi Burning was released in 1988. Tells what might have happened in 1964 when three civil rights activists turned up missing. A well-received film, it was starred Gene Hackman and William Dafoe. In the end part of the movie, Memphis, Tupelo, and Tennessee are all mentioned. A fan wrote that the movie is a very thought-provoking movie about the good work done by the FBI. The moral behind the movie is something I feel Elvis would hope it conveyed. Another fan, while reading his copy of Muhammad Ali's The Greatest My Own Story, found something very interesting. There was a recounting of the story told by Ali by a black man who had been abused and mutilated by some white men back during the civil rights protests, excuse me. His story is almost identical to the portion of the plot of Mississippi Burning. A 1989 Orion movie, Heart of Dixie, was based on a novel, Heartbreak Hotel by Anne Siddons. The movie dealt in part with the integration movement. Let me make sure I read it right. And it featured two Elvis songs, according to the same fan. The most dramatic part of the movie takes place during Elvis's homecoming performance in Tupelo in 1957. The album cover for the soundtrack says that Blue Suede Shoes was recorded in April 1956. However, I have two 1956 recordings of Blue Suede Shoes, one of which RCA released as part of an April 1956 performance, and one of the soundtrack is very different version. Some of the words are different. I wonder what it what this means. Do you suppose it's a newer recording? Anyway, my point is this. I feel that it is no coincidence that you discovered the picture of Elvis, Ali, and Reverend Jesse Jackson about the same time Orion Pictures released two movies, Mississippi Burning and Heart of Dixie, dealing with racial injustice. Both have very strong messages and are excellent motion pictures. Do you think that maybe Elvis is trying to tell us something about the work he is trying to do now? In ads for the video of Mississippi Burning and ads for the movie Heart of Dixie, the name of the production company, Orion, has been given a lot of prominence. Also, Heart of Dixie has a character in it named Tuck, short for Tucker. This is a horse farm on a plantation named Groveland. And the Heart of Dixie is the movie's slogan on the auto license plates for the state of Alabama. Those who are paying attention may also have noticed that in the closing of Orion's Great Balls of Fire, a story of Jerry Lee Lewis, the name Jack Barron is listed. It caught more than one fan's eye because Elvis and Priscilla were going to name their baby John Barron if Lisa was a boy. Great Balls of Fire gave thanks to the Presley estate at the end of its credits. She also mentioned something about that here. Did I take it? No, she didn't write anything out on here. But also the music in that movie was quite interesting. And Linda goes into the Killer and the King album in 1982, which is quite interesting. All right. So 1989's epic Farewell to the King caught many Elvis fans' attention, starring Nick Nolte. It is the story of a World War II soldier who deserts following General MacArthur's retreat from Corregidor. Sorry, I can't pronounce that. My apologies. He escapes from the jungles of Borneo. If I'm saying these wrong, I'm sorry. Unifies the tribes whom he has grown to love, teaches them to sing, and at length becomes king. Startlingly, at one point in the movie, a fan noted, the king says, "I died once. I had been willing to give up everything, even the will to live. Finally, it dawned on me after listening to the song The Last Farewell from Elvis's last recording session in Graceland that I had missed the most important message from the movie. The title of the film and the title of the song are obvious, but the lyrics to the song and the story plot of the movie interlock completely." Another fan noted that the entrance to the village had two big columns out of place in the jungle that remind him of Graceland. And another mentioned in the film that one really cute clue. Elvis recorded Big Boots for his GI Blues album. In the film, there is a little boy wearing soldier's boots and clomping around them in them, and someone tells him that they are the largest boots in Asia, perhaps in the world. Such a cute clue. Okay. So there is another saying at the end of The Last Farewell. If I can pull up the clip, I will after. She has a clip for it on her site. A brief note from the Elvis fan about Orion Pictures' 1989 film She Devil is interesting. The film co-starred Meryl Streep and Roseanne from TV fame. The fan thought the film very symbolic of Elvis sending us messages. Besides his singing Devil in Disguise at the end of the film, the disguise name for Roseanne was Vesta Rose, pronounced Vester. And the rose is a symbol Elvis The rose is an Elvis symbol used in souvenirs, such as pins sold in Memphis gift shops. Vesta Rose and her army of women wore rose pins. Orion's Prancer, released in 1989, is a tale of a young girl who believes she has found Santa's reindeer Prancer. Love the children and of Christmas, wrote one of the fans. Were always important to Elvis. Yeah, children and Christmas. Elvis loved them. This movie is just like him. In the monologue in the film, he mentions that Christmas would be the time when he would come out, if he ever did. Filmed in Three Oaks, Michigan, about 10 miles from Muhammad Ali's farm, the movie may have indicated that Elvis was again in Kalamazoo. He had been sighted there the year before. This movie could be his Christmas present to those of us who believe and are paying attention, the fan concluded. Orion Classics, a separate division of Orion, released Mystery Train in 1990, 3-episode film, and in one part, a teenage boy and girl, both Japanese, visit places where Elvis lived and worked. In another, the Italian woman whose husband just died sees Elvis's ghost. In another, 3 misfits, one of them named Elvis, shoot a liquor store clerk and hide out. A short time earlier, a fan wrote that he read in Memphis the commercial appeal that Orion Films would be producing the movie in Memphis with special scenes from Sun Studios, using extras such as Shelby County Mayor Bill Morris, a friend of Elvis's, and a spokesman at Orion. He said that Elvis allusions were involved in each segment. Why does Orion use so much of Elvis in its films? Could he be a silent partner or investor? And that, I saw a video on Amazon, like maybe 2 months ago, a movie, and it was done by Orion Pictures. And in the middle of the movie somewhere, Elvis is mentioned. I'm not sure. I don't remember what he said, but it wasn't he was alive. It was just like something about his music or something like that. Elvis was mentioned. So, could be a possibility he could be a silent partner or investor in that company. Madhouse, another 1990 Orion release, is a story of a young married couple who have relatives staying with them, never giving them any time alone. This could be based on Elvis and Priscilla's experience with friends and family members constantly being around. A fan saw EP signs all through it. A cat dies 4 times and each time comes back to life. There is a Jerry Lee Lewis telethon, and there are 2 seated lions on each side of a wrought iron gate facing a mansion. Okay. Another Elvis fan found Orion's 1990 release Cadillac Man clock full of clues. She says she knew it would be. Just as soon as I saw the title, she described the movie. Robin Williams is the star. He's a car salesman. The movie starts out with a funeral procession. Williams is divorced and is running around with a lot of women. He has a teenage daughter named Lisa. He still cares about his wife. Williams uses words taking care of business twice early in the movie. When he asked over the phone who he is, he says, "This is Elvis. I'm back from the dead and I'm P. ... and answers the phone, Heartbreak Hotel. The daughter is only seen in the very last few minutes of the film. The actress who plays Lisa resembles Elvis's Lisa Marie an awful lot. At the film's end, Lisa and Williams' ex-wife is sitting in the front seat of the car talking to him about getting back together. The scene bears a strong resemblance to the Oldsmobile commercial that Priscilla and the real Lisa did recently. And of course, Cadillac Man is about car sales too. I remember seeing that. I thought that was pretty hinting. It was like, yeah, there's some good clues there. Okay. Oddly, a fan failed to mention Elvis's perchance for Cadillacs. Okay. So the cartoon world has had a lot of fun with Elvis. I can give only a couple samples. One cartoonist, Ken Alexander Copley News Service, seen in Salisbury, Maryland, Daily Times on the recent July 4, has a Statue of Liberty which proclaims, I guess I do look like Elvis Presley. I'm most popular. And actually, the face of the Statue of Liberty does look like Elvis. And actually, I think Linda Hood Singman has mentioned that in her site somewhere. A cartoon of a billboard by Rodriguez Tribune Media Services Incorporated gives this advice. Remember, when citing Elvis Presley, call 911. The Doug Marlett Creator Syndicate Incorporated strip, Kudzu, July 1988, had drivers pulled up to the gas station in the town of Bypass asking, which way's Elvis? As they drive off, the reader sees a sticker on the car's bumper. Honk if you see Elvis. Hi, Jim. How are you tonight?
All
All right. I'm almost
I
done
was here,
reading the chapter. Huh?
I was here earlier. I was here earlier, but I had to make a delivery, so I had to get off.
Oh, okay. No problem. Oh, so on May 24th this year, all right, that's 1991, a fan saw a Dan Ferrero Chronicle feature cartoon in the Winnipeg Sun, Canada. Under the cartoon titled Bizarro, it showed a picture of Elvis in Hawaii stating, I've decided to come out of hiding just long enough to do a few gigs impersonating myself. Then I'll be back. One of the favorites appeared in the Memphis Star magazine in February or March 1989. It was a two-part series for Jim Palmer's Little E, comic strip character who frequently appears in Elvis getup and sings Elvis songs. Palmer had his character watching the Geraldo show while the host interviewed a syndicate type who had written a book, Why the Mob Killed Elvis. As Geraldo continued his in-depth investigation of the crime, the final frame found Little E saying, "Gall dang." And she does have a copy of that here. It'd be kind of hard. Maybe I will take a picture of it and post it in the messages later, and you guys can look at that. Okay, and in the YouTube, what you call it, posts there. I'll take a picture so you guys can read it. Oh, so during the 1988 the presidential race mentions of Elvis turned up frequently in cartoons. Soon to be Vice President Dan Quayle was identified as Elvis, and Elvis was said to be more alive than either George Dukakis or George Bush. A Houston-based Elvis fan letter suggested that Bush should be glad he had Dukakis as an opponent and not Elvis. Doonesbury comic strip has run many Elvis cartoons, and their theme being that the singer is alive. I would like to end this chapter with a cartoon drawn by my friend Dolores Gosson, captioned by myself. It says, I don't know. It's a picture of Elvis looking at a, like, it says in the caption, Woody Allen was right, baby. It is impossible to experience one's death objectively and still carry a tune. Whatever. All right. So that was the end of that. And there was one other thing that Linda had mentioned before I go put her site on. Return of the Living Dead was an Orion Pictures movie as well. And I believe Silence of the Lambs is another one. And this one, believe it or not, the release of the Return of the Living Dead was August 16th, 1985. Very interesting.
When he took the blower on that motherfucker.
So Return of the Living Dead. I think that was a zombies movie. And all the guys come out of their graves and come back to life and haunt the land. So I thought you'd like to see those little tidbits. So let's see. I was gonna put this on. I think this is part of the Orion Pictures thing about Jerry Schilling. And I think this was The Great Balls of Fire. She said that Jerry Schilling was a technical advisor and that he fought basically for the rights to the music for Jerry Lee Lewis. They also said that the estate of Elvis Presley and Elvis Presley Enterprises were credited in this movie, along with Orion Pictures. And there was another movie that she had mentioned in the book here. I think it was Breathless, where they use music and stuff like that. But there was something else I wanted to see. I wanted to show you, but I can't find it right now, but I had read it on the site. And that was, there was a movie on the credits that thanked John or Jesse. It thanked Jesse, I believe Presley or John Burroughs. I can't remember the name of the person, but it was Elvis related. I think it was Jesse Presley. The special thanks to Jesse Presley. I can't remember what movie it was, but it was quite interesting to see that.
Yeah, it was Jesse Presley you're talking about.
Right. I don't remember what movie it was because
Here's another tidbit for everybody. Oh, Elvis Jesse, he's been involved with a lot of movies since '77. He wrote several scripts for different movies.
Right. And we were just covering Finding Graceland earlier before you got on, Jim. I had actually shared this picture. I thought there's probably some late comers, so I'm going to just put this on. This was a comparison picture between the hobo man in the back of the train and Jesse and Elvis in their body types. So I think this arm here on the left bottom picture, that's the hobo. I kind of lightened it as much as I could, enhanced it as much as I could, but I mean, the only thing that really resembles Elvis is just the body type and the arm, because the face is made up and it's got probably some look enhancing changes and stuff to hide his real identity.
He's the one that wrote the script for the Pink Panther movies. He wrote the script for the Free Willy movies. He wrote the script for the Castaway movie with Tom Hanks in it. And he was involved in a lot of movies.
Yeah, and I think we were talking about mostly the Orion Picture movies on this book. And the Orion Picture movies had a lot of hints and a lot of like weaved into the script, like things that happened in Elvis's life or like that type of thing, Finding Graceland was actually a movie that he admitted to. I showed that earlier, the clip to that from Elvis Found Alive. He admitted to writing the script for that. But if you look at underneath, like the IMB, whatever that company is that does the movies, it says that the director or whatever, the real producer and the director wrote the script, but Elvis is a ghost writer, so sometimes he would give other people credit for writing.
That's just like the Home Alone movies. He was involved with those.
but he was not in the airport. People always say that guy was Elvis, and it's not. It's somebody else, some actor. I
Oh
think
yeah, he was in the movie, but he wasn't in the airport scene.
no, he wasn't in that airport scene. He would have been like, if he was in the movie, he would be like in a disguise of some type and
Yep.
in the background somewhere, like as a
He was
passerby
he
on the
he
street or
he,
an extra
he
in the
was
mall or
he was also in the John Candy movie Wagons East.
yeah. Yeah, he
He
did.
played he played a Native American in that movie.
And I think he said he played an avatar on Elvis Found Alive. And the
Yeah.
reason why he could easily do avatar is because he could disguise his identity. So I'm going to just show you the clip of that, the rest of the clip of that about Avatar. And then we will hit the comments.
Avatar. I got to be one of the warriors. I was fighting the bad guys all over again.
I thought you didn't like making movies.
No, I just said I didn't like starring in bad movies.
Right. So that was the clip from the movies Elvis Found Alive. So he did do work behind the scenes in movies when he wasn't doing FBI work. He did do
Yeah,
FBI work.
he talked about he didn't like starring in bad movies. Well, about every movie that Parker was involved with was a bad movie because all they had him doing was singing. He didn't want to do all that shit. He wanted to be a serious actor.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. All right. So I'm going to start on the comments here from. Hi, Maureen. No problem. Thank you very much. I understand that, it happened. I'm not quite sure what this is about, but whatever. No, Bob's not dead. Neither is Elvis. But anyway, they're not the same person either. All right. Hi, Judy. How are you tonight? I enjoyed last night's chat with Tony, Jim, and you. Well, thank you very much. I am going, like I said, I am going to edit that long live stream out on Facebook we did last time. We did a 2-hour live stream with Tony Tessalaro, and she gave me permission, but I have to edit it out and then submit it to her on Messenger first so she can watch it and tell me if it's okay, if she wants anything taken out, as there's some things that she revealed that she was uncomfortable putting it on YouTube. She was okay with the Facebook because Facebook Lives expire after 30 days, but on YouTube it doesn't. So she wanted to see that. So we will have something in a video form. I'm not sure if it's going to be reprised as a regular live here where we watch it and then we can chat later, or if it's just going to be a regular video. But it was basically about well, we were kind of remembering Elvis on the day he retired the image and real life encounters. So it's quite interesting. It's a good video. It was good.
Well,
Good
go
chat.
on, idiot.
Hi, Nan. Huh? Oh.
I was
Hi,
telling
Nan.
this
How are
idiot
you?
in front of me to go on.
Huh? I do not know, Maureen, how he's doing. As far as I know, he's doing okay, but he hasn't contacted Linda in a while. So, Chanel wants to know how you're doing, Jim.
I'm doing all right.
Bob Joyce, CIA, question mark, question mark, question mark. I don't know what you mean. Can you, clarify what you mean, Bob Joyce, CIA? All right. So,
I'll tell you right now, Bob Joyce is not involved with the CIA. That's horse shit. That's what they're trying to say.
He's not in the CIA or the FBI. He's been a pastor since 1981, ordained
That's right.
as a full-time pastor at the Household of Faith in Arkansas, has been there since
What
then.
are we looking at?
Whore
Right.
Where?
right there with her boyfriend.
So I do want to clear the air about Bob Joyce a little bit because I've had quite a few people
Take a
about
picture.
my mentioning some comments about the short that's here on this channel. It was a pictorial evidence of Bob Joyce is not Elvis. It was pictures of his father, real pictures. They weren't AI photos. One was of his father, Bob Joyce's father. One was of his mother, and he looks like his parents. There's a picture of him and his sisters when he was a little kid. Okay, there was pictures of him in 1975 with his sisters. He was married in 1975 to Welena. And Welena was 5 years old when Elvis was in Germany. And Welena was raised in Texas. All that information you can find on Google. All right. Bob Joyce is not Elvis. He's not his son. I'm going to say he might have a little look of maybe Vernon a little bit. Maybe he is a distant cousin somewhere along the lines, but he is not related that I know of to Elvis.
Bob Joyce is no related to none of us. Bob Joyce is nothing but a con man, a piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to bleep out the word shit. So anyway, yeah. So let's just say this. All right. Bob Joyce is 70 something years old. Actually, on his website, if I could stop sharing here and go on the other one, I would. He was born in 1952.
What'd you do with my
Elvis
fucking knife?
didn't graduate high school till 1954. So he was in high school when Bob Joyce was born. There's no way that he could be, no way. And the real Elvis is in a wheelchair now. Well, most of the time. All right. And very old and hurting. Right. Yes, I know. I looked on Linda's site as well before I came on, and there was nothing about Elvis either. He hasn't called her. I think the last time she heard from the go-between Elvis, he said Elvis was doing okay, but he was having voice problems. Not quite sure if it voice problems or speech, like language, from the stroke, because he had a stroke a couple months ago. But I haven't heard anything since. I know, Jim, you haven't heard anything either, but I guess from what your connections are, it's about the same message that you're getting.
Yeah, the only thing I've been told is you're doing okay.
Right.
They didn't go in no detail.
Sorry, I had a couple friends that were pretty much family. I'm glad that I can catch up. Yeah, and it's all video. Everything is taped here and stays on YouTube forever. So you guys can catch up. If you joined or left or whatever, you can watch the recording. All right. So I had a lot of people, Jim, tell me that I'm full of crap. I actually had somebody who took my short from YouTube and criticized it on their live video.
Yeah.
And then tagged it to me in the comments. Now, I'm not quite sure if I can do anything about that. All those photographs she can get from many different sources. I think most of the photographs I got, except for his parents, I'm not sure where I got the parents from. I think I got them from you somehow. I don't know where you got yours, but Linda Hood Sigmund has a video with her letter and a bunch of pictures Bob Joyce sent to her. So I screenshot them and used those pictures. Like his ordaining pictures, him and his kids when they were little, him and, later on in life. And if you were to compare teeth, face shape, hairline, even though he's got white hair now, a white beard now, he's older. Yes, your teeth separate more when you get older. But anyway, think you can report that to YouTube. Can you? I think I can, but I'm not sure how they would take it because it's kind of like a video, like this, where they can like share video clips on it. But yeah, I was a little bit upset. I was thinking of maybe messaging that guy or sending him a note saying he needs to erase my voice commentary on there because my voice is on there. And I don't think that's fair. You know? Anyway. I probably could report it to YouTube. But I also have an option where I can say, like, can't share it with other reels or other mixing it. So maybe I need to, like, change my privacies when I submit my videos. So maybe I'll do that from now on and change all the privacies so no one can make shorts or other videos from my videos. I mean, I could do that. They wouldn't be able to clip them or anything like that, you know? So, yeah. I thought that was kind of mean. You know, especially I work really hard. I have like 3 other videos debunking Bob Joyce being Elvis. And I have many people that I know that have seen Elvis and met Elvis in real life that say he is not Bob. End of discussion on that. And Linda has said it multiple times on her site. All right. So if there are any other questions, I think that the behind the scene movies are quite interesting. And I think I might have promised you guys that I would show you that I messed it up, didn't I? Oh well. Show you some of the things. A problem I have with like movie clips like that where they have not movie clips per se, but music, copyright problems. You get copyright claims and stuff like that. All right, so I'm going to finish with the rest of this song. And if there are any other comments or anything, I'm going to wish you guys a good night. God bless you all. And I will see you here next Saturday. I should be here unless something happens or whatever. And I'll let you guys know like I did this week. And we will cover the next chapter, which is, let me look it up. The title is, What is Graceland Doing? That'll be interesting. Okay. So here you go. Here's the rest of the song, and you guys have a good night. And I will address any other questions or comments after the song's done.
It's 7:30, honey, I don't care. But what you're doing is gonna keep me here. Hey, all I wanna do is lay around and love on you. Well, lay around and love on you. You got me so turned on, baby, I can't turn it loose. Oh, nobody called, the phone is off the hook. We're gonna try everything in that book. Yeah, all I wanna do is lay around and love on you.
I'm sorry to hear that, Chanel. I hope you're doing okay. It says you lost a couple friends that considered me like family. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm hoping Jesse Elvis is okay as well. Hi, Coral Moon.
When they come out, I'm flipping them off.
Baby, you're riding love on you. You got me so turned on. Baby, I can't turn it loose.
Anyway, I love that song, but it's back to back. I should probably just do the LP recording of that song and just play that. That way you don't have to repeat it. But all right, you guys have a great night. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
What?
David said just ignore her. She tries to say something, don't say anything. But I know she's running her